steel and fire, the open roads are thrown by your life televised, we're breaking every bone. Adrenaline insurgents, brace from the fall. Hitting it with HardWire, hear the engine scream. Living fast and reckless, this is our metal dream. Riding hard, never slowing me. In the spotlight we shine, a biker's brutal journey. This life is ours divine. With HardWire, the crowd screams our name, chasing down the shadows, we're addicted to the fame. Chains rattling loud, the brotherhood's alive. Every episode join us, we're here to survive. From dusk till dawn, we're the kingdom is through. Hitting it with HardWire, hear the engine scream. Living fast and reckless, this is our metal dream. Riding hard, never slowing me. In the spotlight we shine, a biker's brutal journey. This life is ours divine. On the edge of chaos, we embrace the feel. Hitting it with HardWire, we'll always be here.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hitting It with HardWire, where we hit it with HardWire. And good to see everybody. How's everybody doing? Evil Rick and Hook Dog, Barbie, we got a little bit of everybody in here today. The hopes were to have the new studio up, and it is not ready. It's been kind of a crazy week. So yesterday we had a brother that apparently got into a car wreck, and it's a one-car accident. Now he's in the hospital, and all we know is he, at the moment, can't move. So if you guys got any extra prayers out there that you could send his way, be much appreciated. So y'all, that's a big deal, and it's been a crazy week, man. My daughter's vehicle, she just quit producing heat, and after talking to a few people, I got some ideas of what were common problems with that thing, and it is a Jeep product, so they have these little plastic gears. Some of them have these little plastic gears that go in on an actuator that open up what's called the blend door. So I went and bought some plastic gears, and then I started. Of course, her model is what they call a Trailhawk, and of course, it's different than all the other ones. And I couldn't find a video that said where it was. And then it dawned on me that one of my brothers works at a Chrysler dealership. I give him a call. He sends me pictures of where it's at, and I'm going crazy digging, trying to get the glove box out and everything else, because supposedly on a bunch of them it's behind the glove box. Well, on hers it's on the driver's side, so I'm digging and tearing stuff apart, all on the wrong side of the vehicle. And then after that, good afternoon, Mike. Ronnie's riding. Redneck side. And then once I got that actuator off, when you go from hot to cold, that actuator should move. And it moved. I'm like, oh great, that's not the problem. So I went back to ground zero, and went to having the engine running. And the first thing to do is check the hoses, and the hoses were kind of cold. And when the engine was up to temperature, and I says, well, I'm not sure what else it could be. And then he says, how much coolant's in it? And that was the first thing I asked my daughter. Has it got antifreeze in it? She said, yeah, it's got antifreeze in it. Well, this one doesn't have a regular radiator cap. It's just got the overflow cap. And if you look at it and you're looking at it from the side, it looks like it's full. Then when you take the top off of it and look down in there, it's a stain around the side of the damn thing. So I'm looking down in there. I'm like, hey, there's something in there, but that's all the way down at the bottom. So I go in the house, grab some antifreeze, pour the antifreeze in there, and it took almost 3/4 of a jug. And I'm like, well, that's not good, and go back in, and I still have the actuator off, so I flipped the door manually with my, by hand. I reach under there and flip the door, and heat right away. I was like, gee whiz. I had tore all this stuff apart for nothing. All it was low on antifreeze. But I told her she might want to keep her appointment under warranty because there's a reason why she's losing antifreeze. What's up, Lee? Glad you made it. There's a reason why it's losing coolant. She did say at one point that she thought there was a puddle of antifreeze underneath her vehicle, and I told her, it can't be. It can't be from yours. It has to have been from whoever was there before you, because you just bought it. It's new, fairly new. So I told her to keep an eye on it, and if we lose any more antifreeze, to make sure she keeps her appointment in a week to have it looked at, because I found out that water pumps are a common problem on those too. So yeah, and for those of you who just got here, I say I had a brother in a single car accident, and he's in the hospital, and he's not doing real good. So if anybody's got any extra prayers they could send his way, it would be very much appreciated. And I'm dressed up in my fancy duds today. Got my redneck side motorcycle whips, do-rag, made just for HardWire. One of a kind. And my Dynabro flannel here. Thing's awesome. Fits nice. Love it. Only thing is I wasn't even thinking about it, but one of the other guys in my chapter has this pretty much, it's not an awesome redneck side one, but it looks the same. Now when I wear it, we feel like twinsies. Twinsies. Anyway, the studio is going to be moving down to one of the lower rooms, now to this room, where we will have much more room to move around and will not be so cramped. And then whenever anybody has these panels at night that I want to get on, I won't have to worry about it. That was always a problem because the wife was sleeping for work the next day. And now this room will pretty much be our studio. So it's my son's well, it was started out, I cleaned it out as a hobby room, fixed it up down in the basement. And then my son stole it for a bedroom, and then tore apart half of my objects in my room, which really pisses me off. You know how kids are, tearing up all my stuff. And but I'm in the process of cleaning it out. I'm gonna get rid of the regular green screen like I got. I'm painting the walls green. Let's go paint the walls green. Hopefully that works good. I think it will. Back in the one corner, I got an L-shaped desk, and I'm gonna put two L-shaped desks together in a bigger L, and then I'll have room for my lights. And then I'm gonna put a white front drop, and I'm gonna take. I don't know how many people know a lot about lights, but they work better if I'm gonna put a white background on and bounce the lights off the white so it refracts, and that's not so harsh. That's like an old trick they use all the time on photo shoots and movie sets, and then you don't have when the lights are shining right directly on you, they get they call hot, and then they cause. See how my hands are kind of. Well, I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. How are you, Biker News Canada? What's happening? Yeah, glare. It diffuses the lighting and it spreads it out and makes it less harsh. So I got good plans for down there. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna try to finally get to use my laser machine. I'm gonna put it next to the studio. I got a whole new. I've been running everything off of this laptop, and I'm gonna now have a whole new desktop setup. So there should be a lot less any issues like when trying to video edit my footage for Redneck Side. The laptop struggles with it. This desktop should be good because if you don't know, I found out the hard way that when you buy one of these laptops and it says it's got a fancy RTX 3070 or 3080 or 4060 or whatever it says it has in it, you don't have to. You find out the hard way, like I did, that they have an RTX 4060 in it, all right, but it's a 4060 laptop edition. It's a laptop version of the processor, which is not even as good as a lot of the old graphics cards in a laptops. I mean, desktop style. So I found that out the hard way. I bought it and I was all excited about it, and then I found out that yeah, it ain't what it says. I'm just going to put. I was looking at regular diffusers that they'll sell you, but they're basically just the same thing. Any uh like a whiteboard or any kind of a solid white that has to be reflective enough, like a whiteboard, for example, or one of them pieces of white cardboard that's solid and reflective, bright white. You could bounce it off anything like that. That works. Uh, so yeah, it's been a effing crazy week, man. Uh, got to get my truck fixed. I ordered all the stuff I need for the new studio. Um, I had one desk downstairs that it's nicer than the desk I'm using now. It's an old wood heavy POS desk. I had one L-shaped one, and then I ordered another one. I wanted to get another one of the same ones. That way they match up. But of course, they don't sell it no more. So I had to get the closest thing I could. And I'm going to put two L-shaped desks on opposite sides to make a big kind of a round desk. And it'll give us plenty of room. We got two nice monitors, decent sized computer monitors. The ones I'm using now are I have a little portable monitor and a laptop monitor. So they're small, so that's why you always see me squinting trying to see your comments. But that should be less of an issue. Won't have to worry about space down there, so it'll be nice. The only thing is it doesn't have a regular ceiling. I have to figure out a way to do that. But you won't see it. Like you can't see the ceiling in here. It won't matter to you, but I want to put something up there. When I was a kid, my grandpa made me a bedroom in the basement, and what he did was took old drop ceiling tiles and put them up there and nailed them up to the floorboards. It worked. Worked pretty decent, actually. Pretty easy to trim. So I think that's might be what I do. Most of the wire can be tucked up and in between the rafters. And I'm only worried about my side because it's a long room, not real wide, but I'm going to take the back half of the room and I'm going to use that. And I'm going to put a wall, like one curtain walls, a curtain wall. And then I'm going to set up a couple of futons and the TV and the video game systems where the kids can come because they like to have a place where they can come down and hang out. So I'll put that on the other side of the room. I don't have basically a little office studio and they'll have their side. It's a good compromise. I don't need the whole room. So Uh, hey, the wife's in here. Hi, wife. She's been upset because every time she tries to give me love and give me some kisses, the dog gets mad and gets jealous and tries to stick his nose in between us. Yeah, she's hoping to get me hooked on the dog though, so she don't have to get rid of them. I really don't want a dog. We don't have time for it. It makes the house smell like dog. I don't know. Check this out. I really like this too. It's got the QR code on the back. Oh, won't focus quite. Focus on it. Focus. Focus. Yeah, maybe that's clear enough that you can get it in here. Scan it immediately with your phone. Scan it. Scan it now. Do it now. Get to the chopper. Oh man, it's been one of them weeks. And this morning, I my wife had told me she had never seen the movie Pearl Harbor from I think it was the 90s. That movie was made. It might have been the early 2000s. Uh, um, yeah. Anyway, we watched that movie, and she picks on me because I get a little teary, get a little tears are coming. Eh, whatever. This means I'm human, I guess. He likes to pick on me. I don't care. This means I got a heart. Damn it. Even though I've seen the movie before and I knew what was going to happen. Yeah, it's a sad ass movie, right? But see, this is one of the things that drives me nuts. You look at that movie, and it's a well made movie, and it's a little bit dramatized, but a lot of that stuff is based on true story. And I'm telling you, and I say it again, I've said it many times. One of the biggest problems with this generation right now is they've never seen that kind of thing. We our parents, my generation's parents, they had Vietnam. Before that, it was the Korean War, and then World War II. For my grandparents, there was people, the World War One, going all the way back generations before us, and this generation has seen. And for my generation, the closest thing we really seen to it was 9/11. And we've seen that, and I don't want to be a dick, and I'm not trying. I don't mean it in a dickish way, but don't really. The Afghanistan and Iraq wars don't really count those. They weren't. They were bad for people who went there. There was no major atrocities attached to a lot of that. For people that were here, um, trying not to discount anybody that went. That's not what I mean. But like Vietnam, where they drafted people, and it was like thousands upon thousands of people dying, and things. Pearl Harbor's so sad because they caught us with our pants down. There were some people that was trying to tell everybody if they were doing basically what we're doing in Ukraine. They were sending arms that we were trying to stay out of the World War II when it started and let Europe and them take care of it. But we started sending some people over there to fight with them, and we sent millions of dollars in weapons, and kind of like we're doing with Ukraine, and then saying that we didn't want to be in the war, and then yeah, they caught us with our pants down. They attacked us from the one place. We're like, oh no, they'll never attack us there. We'll never attack us there. And there were some generals going, hey, if I was, going to do something like that, I was going to like start a war. This is the place where I'd hit, man. The place where they least expect it. And yeah, man, that was bad. And that's one of the things that scares me now, dude. Our generation of kids are so out of touch. And because they've seen no major atrocities like that, they think it can't happen. And they're like, "Oh, that'll never happen. That'll never happen." And then, man, I'm telling you, if somebody, I mean, they'll get their hands full. Don't get me wrong. If anybody ever decides to come over here and start shit, they're gonna have their hands full. Because while I'm too old to be drafted, you bet your ass I'm gonna be out there. If Russia comes or China comes, I'm gonna be out there shooting them motherfuckers. And I don't take prisoners. And that's the way a lot of our country is. A lot of our old folks and hillbillies will be out there shooting you. So don't ever think about invading our country. These little kids ain't worth a shit. But we're as long as we're still around and still old enough to walk around and hold a gun, you better stay the hell out of here. That's all I can say. Anyway, I'm getting riled up. But that drives me nuts. I mean, I'll guarantee you, I'll bet you 3/4 of our younger kids these days, maybe a little less than that, but a lot of them would just throw their hands up in the air and give up. They wouldn't pick up a gun. They wouldn't fight. They wouldn't do a damn thing. I almost guarantee it. And that scares the hell out of me because if anybody tried to invade our country, dude, this is just, it would be bad. Other than the people like us. I mean, you guys in the cities where you guys are congregating in them cities, the yins are the ones that are all lovey-dovey and probably give up anyway. Well, you're going to be the first ones to get hit. The cities, that's where they're going. They're going to bomb the cities first. So we won't have to worry about you. But whenever the rest of us get together and start picking up guns, almost everybody in that country's got guns in their houses. And I'll guarantee you, anybody close to my age, we're patriotic and we're going in and we're going after you. So don't do it. I told the guy at Rural King the other day when I went in and bought that shotgun, I said, "You guys got a lot of cool guns in here. I know where I'm coming if the Russians invade." I said, "I'm thinking about I got 4 handguns now, an AR style shotgun." I said, "I'm thinking about getting a 5.56/223, one that'll shoot both rounds." And he looked at me and he says, "You know what, though?" He said, "If you're smart and we head towards World War II like you think, what you should buy is either an AK or an AR that handles 7.62 rounds, because that's what all the enemies will have. And when you need to go scrounging for bullets, you'll find plenty. You know what I mean? So that'd be a better idea of what to buy." And I was like, "Hey, that's a pretty good idea, actually." So I would probably, if I was going to do that, I would probably buy a 7.62 and an AR rather than an AK, because I'm not a big fan of AKs. Yeah, man, I fear in a few generations, if not now, man. You watch those old movies like Pearl Harbor and any of them old movies. People were so patriotic then, and even when I was a kid, there was a big sense of patriotism. And the left has completely tried to remove patriotism from the country. That's horrible, because when we need people to stand up for us, we're gonna have a hard time finding people, man. Enlistment's at an all-time low. Kids just don't have any interest in it. It's because nobody taught them to be proud of their country and want to fight for their country and do what's right, man. We went to war. It was, man, a huge war scares the shit out of me. I mean, we might have lots of missiles and tanks and all that, but if anybody decided to invade us, we'd be fairly screwed, because none of us know how to operate. Well, very few of us know how to. Maybe Straight Jacket might know how to run a tank, but I sure don't. I get in it, I might be able to figure it out. I don't know, but I don't even know how to shoot like a bazooka or something. That'd be cool to learn, but I could figure out any type of handgun or probably machine gun. I could figure it out pretty easy. They all basically work the same way. Yeah, you're gonna if you ever have to get in some kind of apocalyptic scenario, uh, the easiest rounds you're gonna find for handguns is easily a 9mm. Uh, you're gonna find plenty of 9mm rounds. 9mm rounds everywhere. Rifle rounds. If you got like a really odd rifle caliber, you're only gonna get by on what you have. Maybe run to a store and hope you can find some more. But the most common used rounds are going to be in America. The 5.56 is the most common, I believe. But almost all foreign countries, especially if they come to invade, are going to be using the 7.62 rounds, because that's what them Russian AKs and stuff are using. Those things, them things are everywhere. Oh, and 12 gauges, you'll probably find lots of shotgun shells. You know, in America, there's a lot of shotgun shells. 12 gauges by far going to be the most common. That's what I got. I got me a 12 gauge and AR style 12 gauge. Some people don't like them. Some of them don't work right. The one I got works good on, if you buy the higher velocity shells, it works good. Especially, you're supposed to use at least 1400 FPS to break it in for the first 300 rounds. I bought 100 rounds of 1440 or 1450 heavier birdshot loads. And I'm just going to go out and start unloading them to break the gun in. Hey, sounds like fun. I still got my 9 that I just bought that I haven't even shot yet. So I gotta find a place to go shooting, man. I don't want to pay a rifle range. There's enough people around here that own land. Mikey's gonna have a shotgun leg. And then I see that in a movie once. You ever seen what was that movie? Man, what the hell was that movie? Dawn of the Dead? Was it Dawn of the Dead? That Quentin Tarantino one where Quentin Tarantino made where they all turned to vampires at night, and it was a strip bar or whatever during the day. What the hell was the name of that movie? I'm drawing a blank. What's up, Code? Yeah, that one dude goes, they said, "What's your name?" He says, "My name's," what was it, Sex Machine. And he has his pants pop up and a gun pops out with with little yeah, has the revolver round things on both sides where you're not to be. That was hilarious. Yeah, but the more I think about it, man, the more concerned I get with all these drones. And these are they've shown some of these drones, okay, and the government's trying to convince you that this is nothing to worry about. It might be some hobbyist, okay, but if you've seen some of these drones that they're finding that they've been flying, these are not regular drones, the little helicopter drones that people buy. These are not those kinds. They're the freaking airplane style. People don't, the big ones, those are military style drones that they're flying around. And at first I thought, hey, this might not be suspicious. Maybe it's no big deal. But they said every time an aircraft gets near it, it goes dark because I thought, well, if they're driving around with the lights flashing, you could see them, so they're not trying to hide. And then when somebody said that, yeah, every time any kind of other aircraft gets near it, it goes dark. I said, dude, there's something nefarious going on, man, and our government's just trying to keep us in the dark. And I said, that's a bad deal, man. That's a bad deal. If I sent Mike a bit from dusk till dawn. Thank you, Warren. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was a good movie. If you ain't seen it, go see it. That's probably the only Quentin Tarantino movie I've ever seen that I liked, because I don't like Quentin Tarantino. The guy's a goofball. His movies are really like the Kill Bill movies. You see him slash somebody's arm off, and their arm squirts, looks like water, red water. These movies were so horrible. Oh, and I sent Mike a video or a picture of a news article where it said a satellite video has seen the so-called Iranian mothership that's launching these drones. They caught it on a satellite video or photo. And yeah, dude, that's not good. That's not good. What if you're going to launch an attack on another country? What's the first thing you do? Gain intelligence. And what else? What other way they're going to do it? They're going to fly all these drones out, see where all our important stuff's at, so they know where to throw, chuck them bombs, man. I'm telling you, it's a scary time, man. It's a scary time. Yeah, last time I seen code, you was up to what, 1900, I think, for your toys thing. I don't know if I still have it on here. No, I do not. The code, put in in the comments where people can send money for your Christmas thing. Oh, Blair, you're taking off already? Oh, today's the day. Me and Code's got a bet today. Today's the Steelers and Eagles game this afternoon, I believe. I believe it's on at 4:00. 21:05. All right, Code. That's awesome. Glad you got a new record going. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just 4:25. We got a uh-oh. What's with all the bad shit going on, man? Yeah, me too. Me too, Blair. Got a brother in the hospital too. Had a bad one car accident. They think he broke his back. Might be paralyzed. It's a good brother too. No, things have been jinxed lately. Yeah, you guys are still riding down there. It's nice and warm probably down there in Texas. Yeah, prayers for him, man. I hope he's all right. I keep telling everybody, man, when will we learn? Got to learn eventually that this doesn't pay to ride like idiots, man. If they're you're right, good. The speed limit and most of our roads up here on highways are 70 miles an hour. 80, 75, 80, 85, fine. When you get 90 to 100 miles an hour, that's just ignorant. That's just stupid. There's no reason for it. I know it's adrenaline rush and all that, but that kind of thing just gets people killed. Oh, geez. I seen where they arrested one person's all the one I seen. I seen they arrested some Chinese national for flying one of them drones. And if that's not suspicious, man, I don't know what is. You know how many uh, Chinese secret guys have snuck in through our southern border? A bunch. What did I see on the news the other day? There's already been like 37,000 Chinese that have had their hearing and been told to leave, and they won't. There's something like a million people in our country that have already had their hearings of various ethnicities. Not all just Mexicans. There's a bunch of Mexican, Guatemalan, bunch of Chinese. The number was staggering. It's a huge number that have already had hearings and just refused to leave, and they won't even let them go after them for it. I would take 55, man. It's not 55 here. It's like I go outside and it's exactly fuck that degrees. That's what I say. I don't even like going out to try to have a cigarette, man. Go out and go. Never mind. I'm going back in. It's a good way to quit smoking, though. I'm ready to move somewhere warmer. I'll tell you that. I'm tired of this crap. Told the wife the other day. My wife said the same thing. She goes, "I'm ready to go too because I'm tired of this crap too. If we could and we had something set up somewhere, we would pack all this stuff up and be gone. We'd move south in a heartbeat. I don't have a lot of things holding me here like it used to, except my daughter. But she'd go. I think I could get her to go. I'd talk her into it. See, I think the drones. I think aren't they too small to register as suspicious on regular radar though? They're big enough. There's a reason why there's so many things in our skies to begin with, between birds and everything else, but and you're not allowed to shoot them down because somewhere along the line, I forget when, they had them drones classified as regular aircraft. So if you shoot one, you're it's like shooting at a plane, and the federal government gets involved. That's crazy. They need to change that. If it's a little helicopter style buzzy regular hobby drone, I wouldn't be the least bit worried. You can tell those when you see them. You know what those are, and they don't fly that high in the air. If they fly anywhere near that high in the air, they're not getting footage you can use. And a lot of these newer ones, you can't even fly them that high because they have a setting in them. Once they lose signal to return to home, to where it took off from. It's neat. It's the neatest thing ever. But they automatically, once they lose signal from your whatever remote you're using, once they lose signal, they turn around and come back to home, which is pretty cool, man. I don't have a drone. I think that'd be kind of cool to have, but it would be a novelty. I wouldn't really have a lot of use for it. Oh, some of them ran. What's up, Gary? Is it cold up there in Michigan? I'll bet you it is. You Michiganders are about like Canadians, man. Too far north. It's cold up there. That's why you guys are into that hockey, like the Canadians. Make Canada the 51st state. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Then Trump tweeted, what was it? He tweeted, I had a great supper with Governor Trudeau, and I can't wait to get together to talk about tariffs and stuff. And Trump was trolling him bad. It was hilarious. It was really funny. If I had thought of it, I'd have pulled it up. in advance and been prepared. But it was funny. Check out Trump's things on X, man. You got to. He's a master troller. But yeah, I was watching a bunch of the shows where they was talking about tariffs and how Trump's going to cause all these extra money and taxes on us, and all of our stuff's going to go up. And they told him that before, and it did to a small degree, but nowhere near what things have gone up under Biden. And what's going to go up is your cheap Chinese and cheap other countries where the labor's real cheap, the real like Temu type junk. That stuff's going to have to go up in price. That's all there is to it, and you're not going to be able to get your cheap junk no more. Not get it cheap anyway. And what they're going to find out is Americans are just going to stop buying their crap, because if you got to pay that much for that junk, I wouldn't buy it. Right? There ain't nothing. I bought a few things on Temu before just because I was curious, but I'll tell you what, you got to understand what you're getting. You're getting cheap Chinese garbage, the kind of thing you should get in a cereal box usually. They make the pictures make it look big and awesome, and then you get this little tiny junk. Excuse me. But if you know what you're getting and you know what to look for, and that's what you want, is novelty. That's what it all basically amounts to, is a bunch of novelty stuff. But yeah, that's what's going to get expensive. I don't really know. I know I did hear that they had a limit, an order for you to legally fly drones or whatever. First of all, you're supposed to register them, and then you have a limit or whatever to how high you could fly them and stuff. But again, I say, what they're neglecting to tell most people, and if you look around, you could find it. These things, most of these ones that they're finding. I mean, some people are flying drones now just because oh man, there's drones everywhere. I'm gonna fly my drone and freak people out. Yeah, you know how people are. But the main ones that they're finding are these big airplane style, military style drones. Man, those aren't the things people novelty fly. This is not the same type of drone that most of these ones are that they're finding. People are flying. Right, and what Trump's tariffs will do is basically force people, if you don't want to, if you want that Chinese garbage, you're going to pay more and pay just as much without getting the quality. So at least in America, when we make stuff, most of us try to take pride in our work. At least the older generation, we try to take pride in our work and make good stuff. We try, it costs more, and we work harder because we're not little kids in a sweatshop like they do in China. That's why you get garbage. But we can make a lot of that stuff in America. It's just we're not currently set up to make a lot of that. A lot of that's it can still be made cheap if it's set up to be made cheap. You got to make it in bulk, large amounts of it. A lot of that stuff's cast. You got to have molds and casts thousands of them, and you can still make that stuff cheap. We're not set up in America currently to make a lot of that kind of stuff cheap, and it kind of forces us to do so. And Trump's trying to give tax breaks to companies to come back to America and make their stuff. It might take a little while for it to start working well, but it will work, and it has worked in the past. It's something that's been done. Trump's not new to trying to do it. Whenever NAFTA and all that came around, all the free trade agreements came around, it screwed us and made it cheaper for businesses to move and still sell things right back to us at a cheaper cost, so they could pocket more money. Now they might as well come back, because what you want to do is you want to make tariffs high enough that it would have been, if they don't have to pay the tariff, they may just make it here. Then they don't. It benefits them more to come back and make it here, and then they don't have to ship it across overseas, and then they don't have to pay the tariff, or won't have to pay tariff. So it's cheaper for them to build your factories here and just stay the hell here and make it here. And that's what they never should have done that to begin with. They got rid of the tariffs. I said for years before Trump ever did it that we need to go back to doing that, because that's the only way to keep things fair for America and for our workers. Oh yeah, I do all the time. I have a lot of people come on. I've had Mikey on here. We've had I think we have had Glare on here. Mr. Mister dropped in last week. The only rule is can't talk nothing about, if you're in a club, leave your club's specific name out of it. We don't need no inter-club drama or beefs or anything like that. Don't bring that shit on the internet. Keeps us all out of trouble. If you're in a club, it'll keep you out of trouble with your club. Keep me out of trouble with my club. Just leave all that out. That's the only rule. If you have questions to ever want to ask me about clubs, I'll tell you what I can tell you. Anybody that comes on the show, that's fine. We can talk about whatever you want. Just got to leave the club business and your club out of it. That keeps everybody safe. Everybody, we don't bring none of that kind of stuff around. I think I'm getting a little bit of a cold, getting a little raspy. What's up, Straight Jacket and Frogzilla? Straight, we still got to. Are you still going to do your show? I haven't seen it for a while. Are you on hiatus? Maybe taking a break. Get stuff straightened out. Let me know, and we'll try to reschedule our interview. We'll get her done. Things have been kind of crazy around here, and right now we're trying to set up a new studio. I got a bunch of painting to do. Then I got to move all this stuff down. Well, I got to move some of this stuff downstairs. Move the mics, the lights. I got to unplug and make sure the internet's good down there. There's so many things you got to do. I got one desk down there, an L-shaped desk. And I ordered another one, and I'm gonna put them together like this. L-shaped. The smaller ends like this, longer ends like this. And I'm gonna put them together. That way, I have a big enough space. I have to have, the way I see it, I want a big enough space for my chair and one interview chair, because eventually, I'm going to try to get some people to come be here, and I got I know plenty of people that I can have come stop by and be on the show. I just got to have everything set up better. Thankfully, somebody sent, trying to remember the name, somebody sent me a message, a personal message. I believe it was on my Instagram, telling me they enjoyed the show, and I'm glad somebody does. And I said, I really haven't quite found the direction of my show entirely yet. Right now, it's mostly just me talking and trying to involve you guys in the chat. And we talk about a little bit of everything from what went on in our week to what's going on currently. There's always something. And we rattle on and on and on. about things. I talk about stuff that's awesome, like my whip I got here from Redneck Side Motorcycle Whips. This is a badass whip. Turn this way a little bit. Yeah. Got the knuckles and the hangy doodads. I put a whooping on somebody. I'll tell you if I condone violence, but you know I don't. I don't condone violence openly. If somebody needs a whooping, it should be legal to give a whooping. That's what I think. But still, they need to pass laws that says if you deserve a whooping, you get a whooping, and it's not an assault charge because you deserved it. I still say that should be a law. If you're being an asshole and somebody punches you in the face, you deserved it. Nobody can get charged for punching you in the face because you deserved it. Tell you what, that would change a lot of people in the country. That would change a lot of things. It would change a lot of people be thinking twice about being a jerk. Because if somebody could just walk up, no, I'm not talking about beat them to death or nothing like that. But I'm just talking about if you deserve it, they could walk up and give you a black eye or bloody lip or break your damn nose. I'd make a whole lot of people think differently. Old Hank Williams Jr. used to call that an attitude adjustment. Yeah, my daughter seen the old whip. It's hard. The camera doesn't do it justice, man. This thing is awesome. It is badass. Look how long these are. This thing's as long as my fingers. I'm 6'1". I'm not a little dude. Longer than my fingers. I got this badass dude on here. My camera, my lights are too bright. It's washing it out. And it's got they're not brass. I'm sure they're probably aluminum or something. But I'll tell you what, you hit somebody with them, they're never going to forget it. They're hard as a rock. Probably, maybe they're not aluminum. I don't think they're steel. They're not brass. Brass is the reason why I use brass for brass knuckles because brass is heavier. Five seven. I probably lost in a few inches over the years in height. Not the way it sounded. Made that sound bad. Everybody does. When you get older, your vertebrae, you lose some of your vertebrae from just gravity over the years, especially if you're a big guy. And then you end up losing some height over the years. I thought about bringing a shotgun up here and showing you guys, but I don't know if YouTube allows that. I don't know. You're probably not allowed to show off your pew-pews on YouTube. Or I'd bring them up and show you sometime. But I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed. I mean, they have gun channels where that's all they do. But it's weird how YouTube works because even Mike, he can say some things and do some things and get censored. We can all get censored in his room. But there are some channels that are dedicated to talking about things like that, and they don't get struck like that. It's really strange how that works. I don't really understand it, but what's up, American Uncensored? Good to see you. I need to make one part of my intro video with me going like a hitting it with HardWire, bam, bam, hitting it, bam, hitting it, bam. Kaplow! I'll put a big, like the old cartoons, I'll put a kaplow. That would be funny. Well, I know you can't. Well, I found out that some people have been finding a way around it. They'll post what do they call them? Hole puncher. They'll say, "Hey, I have this hole puncher for sale," and what the hell do they say? And it's I have a hole puncher for sale, and it punches 45 circles or something, and they'll sell them. I still seen some people getting around trying to get around it on Facebook, and they must be getting away with it. Facebook's weird. I don't understand it, man. It's a free country, man. Let it go. I know it's your platform or whatever, but once you make it a public forum, it should be public. Uh, it shouldn't be subject to censorship, whatever way you see fit. I don't like that. Straight racket, you're crazy. But you'd be fun to hang out with. I'm gonna get my ass down there sometime and hang out. Seem like you'd be a fun one to hang out with. I've had a few in the chat pop in from time to time. You would think more of my own brothers would stop in, but they don't. I've had a few stop in, and then then disappear and never see them again. On the show. If any club brother wanted to like do an interview type of thing, like yeah, we could do that too. We would just have to make sure not to, certain things not to talk about. And it wouldn't be an issue as far as I'm aware. As long as we keep the club name and specific stuff out of it. If you're like with a rival club or something, I can't say who my club is, but it's not that I'd be against having any club on there. Some clubs can talk freely about their club and they don't care. They don't get in trouble for it. And if you're one of those guys and you want to talk about your club, I'm not against having you on, man. The club beefs and stuff that stays away from my internet. That's not about that. That stays out there, and I don't bring that here, and I don't want anybody to bring that here. I used to know a guy like that, dude. I swear, he would just look at women and end up getting one pregnant. And it was awful. He had like every time I turn around, there was another girl he had pregnant. And it was awful. Like, dude, your pull-out game is weak, man. You need to learn what a condom is or something. I feel sorry for people like that, dude, man. It's a life. If things don't work out with your wife or something, dude, you're never going to make any money. They're going to take so much child support out of you. You're going to be eating ramen noodles and crackers for the rest of your life. I lucked out. I got custody of my kids, so I didn't have to pay child support. And I'm glad I had custody of my kids. The reason why I got custody of my kids is mostly because I only trusted me to make sure my kids were raised properly, and their mothers were not in my opinion, the best to do it. I just didn't trust them to do it right. They were too busy. Yeah. I was sitting in a bar one time, and I thought for sure when I was going through my first divorce, I was like, I'm just going to be paying child support. I'm going to be a weekend dad, seeing my kid every other week. And it depressed me so much. And some older guy just looked at me and says, "Hey, do you love your kid?" And I said, "Fuck yeah, I love my kid. I love my kid with all my heart." And he says, Why don't you fight for him? I said, you know what? You're right. I'm going to fight for him. And I did. And did most of it myself and I won. It's because I am the more responsible parent. Stop it. Damn dog. It's one of the reasons why I don't want dogs. He wants in here, and I got the door locked, so now he's going to scratch on my door. And I don't want damn dog scratches on my doors. I'm not paying for this shit. A damn landlord will make me pay for all this. He'll do damage to my house. I don't need that. I've lived here for 7 years and never had no problems, except for natural wear and tear on this house, and I do not need a dog tearing anything up. Well, I thought the wife had the bottom of the steps blocked so we couldn't get up here, but it won't be a problem whenever we get the new studio because there's several doors I can shut. Only thing I need to do is find a way to soundproof the basement a little bit because when people are walking upstairs, it creaks a lot. And if you're making very much noise down in that room, you can hear it like hear people talking like there's in the room with you upstairs. I mean, there's like no soundproofing at all. So I'm not sure how. I think I might do what I said with the tiles. Maybe try to blow in some blown in insulation in there, and that'll get rid of it. I just got to make sure it's there's a lot of wires in there. I got to make sure it's some kind of fire. It's not flammable. Whatever insulation I put in there, I could do I guess I could do the fiberglass and stuff it in there before I put the ceiling tiles on. Regular fiber, but that stuff's kind of expensive too. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Sarah, I know he wants his dad, but I'm not his dad. I'm his stepdad. There's a difference. No, you mean the itchy stuff? That stuff makes me itch. Anytime I get anywhere near it, I start itching like mad. The pink fluffy stuff, insulation. Yeah, I just get anywhere near that stuff, and it just makes me itch like crazy. Hey, now. What? I do not. I resent that. I appreciate you guys coming to my show. I always do. I love you guys. I love each and every one of you. And I started saying that, yeah, somebody got a hold of me, told me they enjoyed the show, and I appreciate that. Anytime you message me and tell me you enjoy the show, like I say, I haven't quite got my soundboard all figured out. StreamYard's got some weird quirks with this soundboard, I think, and I haven't figured out how to get everything working quite right. Once I get the new studio set up, it will be easier because I can go and just chill and spend some time there and get things figured out. I have to reload all the software that I had on my laptop. I got to go through. See, this laptop has a 3070 RTX 3070 graphics card in it, which would be good if it was a 3070 regular desktop version. But it is the laptop version, and it has an i7 processor in it. This is still a good laptop for a laptop. It was expensive. It's an Alienware. I bought a couple years ago. When I buy a laptop, I buy one that's considered top of the line. That way, even a couple of years later, it's still pretty relevant, and it's still a good laptop. I don't like. I don't if it's going to be for my studio, and I don't remove it I don't ever take it out to use it, then having a laptop's kind of pointless. So I'm going to get a desktop, do my whole show from the desktop. Everything I really do on a computer, I can do on a desktop. I don't really need to take it nowhere. So I think the new one I bought's got an RTX 4060 Ti in it, I believe. And it's an i7 12700 processor, which is not like top of the line, but it's a good one. I think it'll function so much better than this. And I'll have 2 regular monitors. Right now I'm using, like I said, my laptop and a portable monitor, which is pretty cool because it's touchscreen. So I could like reach right up here and like touch your comments, which is kind of cool. So it's a touchscreen, and it works. See, I'm touching your comments, and on the side, I can scroll, do everything on here with touchscreen, which is kind of neat. I'm going to recycle this laptop. I'm going to keep the touchscreen monitor for myself. I'm going to be reusing most of this stuff. The microphones are all going downstairs with me. I might set things up a little differently. I bought mounts for the cameras. It's on the microphone. But I didn't, because I thought it would be a more natural look. I mean, it looks okay, but I gotta turn my head to look at the monitor, so it doesn't. I wanted it to make it look like I was looking at you. So when I set up the new monitor setup, I'm going to mount the camera that I use most often on the monitor where I'm going to be looking at to see you guys. So I'll always look like I'm looking at you, which is what I wanted, but I didn't set this up quite right. Oh, you guys. There's Mrs. Lance. Mrs. Lance is in here too. I seen you getting into it with Jess the other day, man. She was just playing originally. I tried to go into Jess's room and get them guys riled up. I started calling them all kinds of names and everything else, and they didn't even. It's like they wasn't even paying attention. They didn't care. I tried to get them riled up a little bit. I was saying this is payback for you coming over and picking on Mrs. Lance there, getting her riled up. And for those of you that don't know, Sarah is my daughter. That's in there. Sarah Ashley. That's my daughter. And Vicky, that was in here, popping up here once in a while. That's my wife. So I got some family support. They love me. This will be nice. This will be nice to have, like when I'm gone. You can go back and watch these old YouTube videos, Dad talking on YouTube, and it'll be nice. Be a nice thing to see. You know, I wish I had something like this to go back and see my parents, you know, because they're not here no more. I really wish I had something like this. So that's another thing, another reason why I don't mind doing this is I'm really hoping when I'm gone, this will be something nice for them to be able to look back and see. I don't want anybody to be sad whenever I kick the bucket or buck the kick it or whatever. I don't want nobody to be sad. I hope a few people would come and say bye to me, you know, even though I probably won't have any idea, you know, myself, but I would like some people to come and say bye. And then every year on Halloween, because my birthday is the day before Halloween, but every year on my birthday or Halloween, I want everybody to take a shot and say this one's for HardWire or for Wolfie or whatever name you know me by, and just take a shot for me and have a good time and dedicate it to me. That's what I want. That's all I want. You don't have to remember me every day of the year. Just one. And that'll keep my memory alive. Do it ritualistically every year, just for one day. Say, this one's for HardWire. We miss you, brother, or buddy, or pal, or friend, dad. And that's all I want. I don't want nobody to. I want everybody to get on with their life. I don't want to. Mostly for my kids. I want you to get on with your lives. Don't be sad. My brother still struggles with the fact that my mom's gone, and I don't. I miss her all the time, but it's. I know she wouldn't want me to be sad, and she would want me to get on with my life. She told me so. While she was alive. Uh, so, so I miss her, but I don't dwell on it, and I don't let it keep me down. I get about my life just the way she would have wanted. Yeah, my daughter, yeah, she was an asshole when she was younger, and every once in a while she'll still apologize to me and say, "I'm sorry, I was such an asshole of a kid." But she brings her friends over once in a while. Even they're older. She's going to be 28 in a couple months. Uh, but they say your dad seems like he's pretty cool. That's hey, I like hearing that. Yeah. I like to think most of the people that I went to school with and that are my age, they're all sticks in the mud now. They're all old and lame and boring, and I'm not. I'm not one of them old lame and boring dads. I'll always be the cool dad or grandpa if I ever get to there, but I probably won't. That'll always be one thing that makes me sad. Is my favorite person in the world when I was growing up was my grandfather, and I always looked forward to the day I'd be a grandpa, but probably never happened. But that's all right. I've come to grips with it. It is what it is, and I don't. There are a lot of things in life that I will never get to have that I always wanted, and one of the hard parts of life is getting to realize and live with and not dwell on or be sad about the things you'll never do and the things you'll never have. And I've come to grips with that. There's a lot of things in life that I'll never do, never have. Um, One of my goals on my bucket list is to get overseas and visit Scotland. Something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to go to Australia too. I thought Australia would be cool, but on my top part of my list is Scotland, and I found out that it's not really terribly expensive. It's not as bad as you'd think. You can buy a package that'll get you over there and back, and a lot of the like tours of a lot of the countryside and the cool places like the castles and whatnot. You can do all that for a couple grand a person. Uh, it's not terrible. Something that's doable. I know Dr. Harley, he's not here today, but he talked about taking a trip over, and apparently they have some kind of a deal where you can rent a bike over there and ride the country. And I thought that'd be really cool. Be kind of sucky to do by yourself though. My wife already told me she won't get on a plane, so if I want to go over to Scotland, I'm doing it myself, which is fine. Is what it is. I'll do it myself then. But it is on my bucket list of things I want to do. I still want to someday get a camper and travel across the country. I've yet to be west of the Mississippi. I want to get out west, visit like Texas. I don't think I have much. I have an uncle who lives in California. I always wanted to go out and visit him, but I'm not so sure I even want to go to California, even to visit it anymore. The place is just too messed up. I feel sorry. There's a lot of people in California that aren't the typical what you hear on TV and all that. There's a lot of good people there, mostly outside of the cities. Uh, but I heard he lives in Bakersfield, California, and I heard Bakersfield's like the armpit of California. So I don't know if I want to go there. I don't know if he lives in town or lives outside of town, but I know I'd be welcome to come visit. Uh, it'd be a place to visit since I want to do some traveling and visit out there. I know two people in Texas now. I know Straight Jacket and Glare, so I got a couple people I can go visit there. Uh, Mike says I'd rather go through Death Valley. Uh, that's pretty extreme. It must suck. It must suck pretty bad. Straight says Bakersfield is the ball sack, California. Oh, I'm gonna have to tell. I haven't even told my Uncle Jim that I got a show. I should tell him to get on here sometime. Kind of nice, and he was watching. Most of the family hasn't met uh my Uncle Jim. Um, I'm trying to think of who else I know. G lives out in Oregon. I don't know what Oregon's like. I have no idea what Oregon's like. Uh, Probably pretty progressive, but I'd probably stick out like a sore. I gotta be careful where I go. I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. Like everybody looks like yuppies, and then you got this crazy biker-looking guy coming by. I will tell you that people were intimidated just by the way I look and the way I carry myself, and until they find out that I'm actually a pretty awesome guy. I'm pretty laid back, easy to get along with. I get along with pretty much anyone. Steven, what was that? Who was talking about a mammogram? Did I miss something? I don't know. I must have missed something. But yeah, I seen some of Jess and Mrs. Lance going back and forth, and I didn't. Although I was getting a little irritated by it, I didn't want to jump in and try to take a side. I don't like. So we've been getting some trollers coming to Mike's room, and it bothers me because we really do have a family dynamic in there, and I feel like it's ruining it in a way. So I don't I try to chase him out a little bit. Mike doesn't like that. Mike wants everybody to be able to speak freely. I think it kind of ruins some of the family dynamic that we have in there, and that's what a lot of us love about it. So I even put on my intro, no trolling. If you pop up in here and I feel like you're trolling, I'm booting you the hell out. I don't want none of that crap in here. You come in here and you talk like family, you get along, or don't come to my show. It's as simple as that. I won't have none of that here. This is a family show. We're all friends, and that's the way it is, and that's the way I'm going to keep it. If anybody comes in here acting that way and trolling and being an ass, then I'm just booting you, and that's the end of it. You might say that Mike likes to have everybody with free speech and to just do and say what they want. That's fine. That's his choice to do so. But I'm not. I'll be the communist channel if I have to be, but I won't deal with it. You're everybody here is family. We're all friends. Oh God, Sarah, I'm surprised you remember that. I can't believe you remember that. There was a club I was in once a long time ago. And I'm thinking my daughter he was only like 14, I think, at the time. And her and would have been our president at the time. His daughter was close to Sarah's age. And they were trying to sneak out with a couple of boys that were 18, 19 years old, 18. I think the one was 18. And they were, like I said, 14, around 14 or so. And yeah, we caught him sneaking up to sneak him out. And I wasn't sure what I would do. And yeah, he grabbed a hold of him. And well, I'm kind of admitting guilt. I don't use this against me in a court of law. This could be a made up story. This could be fact or fiction. I'm admitting to nothing. But he got a hold of him and he's holding him there, and we're bitching him out, going, "What the fuck are you doing? You know, you're basically a pedophile trying to pick up these little kids." He's 14-year-old, and he said, "You better apologize." And he's sitting there going, I'm sorry. And I'm looking at him and I'm getting madder by the second. And I didn't know wasn't sure what I was going to do. And then I just lost it. And I started pounding the shit out of him. And he left, and it turned out he was graduating within the next week or two. And I guess he had a black eye and all puffed up, and his graduation pictures were all messed up because of me. Never did figure out who the kid was, but as far as I'm concerned, he deserved it. You know, it's one of them deals where if you deserve an ass whooping, it should be legal. It should be legal to whoop somebody's ass if they deserve it. I don't know if she remembers it better than I do. I should have let her come over and tell the story. I was so mad that night. Everything was a little bit blurry. Don't really remember it that well. Started doing a little drinking to try to calm the nerves, and it didn't calm the nerves. It just made it worse. Hey, I don't know if you can see that, if the camera will pick it up or not. Yeah, see that? I got a big old scar all the way across my neck. Looks like somebody tried to slit my throat once. But what that was my very first riding experience. I was 6 years old on a mini bike, and my grandpa decided instead of a regular throttle, he was going to put a lawnmower throttle on it that kind of slides back and forward. And I hit that, and the throttle went, and the bike didn't turn enough, and I ran right smack into a barbed wire fence. Cut me right across my neck. I was 6 years old. I remember I just kind of woke up on the other side of the fence on the ground. I could hear the mini bike going, and I see the look of horror from my aunt. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm like freaking out. I don't know what. They threw me in the back of a van to rush me to the hospital, and everybody's freaking out. And I just remember going, "Grandpa, is my head going to fall off? Is my head going to fall off?" I was 6 years old. You know, it was scary, but I still remember that. Hard to believe I remember that from being 6 years old. But they sent me to a local hospital, and just to give you an idea how close I was to death, they would not stitch it because it was so close. They said they could hold the flaps up and see my jugular veins. And they was afraid when they were trying to stitch it that they would puncture my jugular vein. Yeah, that's how close I was to dying from that 6 years old. I've had a lot of brushes with death in my life, and it gives you a new perspective. It makes you glad to be alive. I'll tell you what, no matter how sucky you may think your life is, Every day alive is a gift from God, and remember that. Always remember that. No matter how bad it gets, every day alive is a gift, and enjoy it. Try to enjoy it. And remember, when you're down, get back up. Nothing, don't let nothing keep you down, because if there's one thing you're always given, it's the ability to recover. You can, no matter how far down you are, you can work your way back up. No matter how much life beats you down, always get back up. It's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up. And I've been knocked down and knocked down and knocked down, but I've always refused to give up. And I have come back from some pretty down spots in my life. Excuse me. I think I'm getting sick again. I think. I hate being sick, but one of the kids, stepson, he's sick. Yeah, his mom's one of them ones where she wants to run. Well, her family and everybody wants to run him to the hospital every time he's got anything wrong. And I said, that's the worst thing you could do, because then the kids, every time they get a sniffle or a sneeze or a scratch on their arm, they start going, oh, you got to take me to the doctor. You got to take me to the doctor. You don't want that, man. Don't be such a wuss when it comes to your kids. Let them heal themselves. 99% of the time they will. 99.9% of the time. Now, my wife, I can understand to a degree, and she'll use it as an excuse. She lost one of her kids, but that was in a different situation entirely. The poor kid had problems since he was young. Recovered from something that they said kids never recover from. Lived his life, had to have his spleen removed at one point. That's in a completely different situation, and you can't freak out and worry about your other kid, because of what had happened to you with the other, because it's a different situation entirely. And I feel for that situation, and I can't pretend to understand it, because thank God I still have both of my kids. I only had two, and I will forever be one of the only regrets of my life is that I didn't have more kids. I wish I would have. I have some stepkids out there, but you know how that is. They don't give a shit about me anymore. Unless they want something, and I'm sure they probably won't do. Then they'll probably want to, when they run out of other people to call, they'll probably call me. And like the big-hearted guy I am, I'll try to help them any way I can. I don't abandon people, and I don't forget. I raised them like kids and loved them like they were my own, and I'll always be there for them if they need me. I hope I ain't boring you guys to death. Am I boring you guys to death? I apologize for that. I'm not trying to. Just telling my stories. That's what we do every week here on Hittin It with HardWire. We just listen to HardWire and BS, and we chit chat back and forth, and I enjoy the show. Hell, it's free therapy. Why go to a therapist? That's what friends are for. Family's for, if you have any. And you guys are my family too. I love you guys. And I always try to be the life of the party. I got some work to do, and I got a game to watch later. As much as possible, I might have to try to turn it on the radio or something while I'm working downstairs. I got to get this studio done. I got some painting to do. Bunch of stuff to go through and throw away, because my son seemed to be a pack rat down there, and I had a bunch of stuff that I kept. Like I had another board. It was an older style board, and I asked my son specifically where it was, and he says, I don't know what you're talking about. I never seen it. Then I go down there after he left, and it's in a box all torn apart where he had dissected it. Oh yeah, you didn't know where it went. You sure did. You took it apart. You just didn't want to say something to Dad because you knew I'd be pissed. There's no reason to be tearing shit apart that don't belong to you. So I could have used that. Could have used that damn board, man. Would kept me from having to buy this fancy board, or if I'd have bought this fancy board, I could have sent that along to somebody who could have used it to help them with their channel. There was no reason to take it apart, and then it was worthless. I'm a good ways away from a senior discount. What? Oh, God damn it. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. I think that's the Sarah one then. God damn it. See? Brought the dog.
He was waiting for you.
Why'd you bring the dog? And I can't get through this.
I won't bother you.
I can't get through the. I'm so tightly packed in here. I bumped the damn microphone to get through here. Oh, come here. Come here.
No.
Come here, Bully.
I want to make food anyway. He wants to make food.
Come here. The doggy loves me. I don't know why. Come here. What's up, doggy doggy? Come here. Come up here.
Dude, guess what?
Ooh, he farted again.
What?
The farting dog. Farts all the time. Stinks. Whew. You need to go outside and take a shit.
You stinky. Oh, you stinky.
So you want to tell the story? You tell it better than me.
Tell the story of when you beat up that kid?
Yeah.
I can't. I told everybody at work.
Hold on.
I
Let
thought it was really funny.
me turn your microphone on.
Oh, bully. Holy shit. Jeez.
There, talking to your microphone. See if it's working.
Hello?
Yeah, your microphone's working. Here, you want to tell the story?
No, don't show my face.
Oh, quit.
Okay. So many moons ago. Don't show my face. I don't have any makeup on, Dad. Come on now.
It doesn't matter. People don't care. They just want to hear the story. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I don't have makeup on. I don't have anything on. Many moons ago, I was like 15 years old, and me and one of my friends texted these boys, and we were like, I don't know, I'd say like 14, 15 years old, and these boys were well into their, like, they were of age. They were like 18, 19 years old. And we used one of my friend's burner phones because she was actually grounded at the time. So she didn't have a phone, and she managed to get her hands on a phone. So it was like kind of like a little burner phone that her dad didn't know that she had. And so we texted these boys to come get us. We did actually sneak out, and we did actually see these boys. And at the time, everything seemed okay. And then eventually I think she hid her phone in like the toilet. Like, as stupid as that sounds, I think she hid her phone in like the toilet. Like, there was a like a little thing sitting on the back of the toilet, and she hid her phone like in the back of the thing, and somebody found it. I can't remember if it was her dad or if it was my dad, but somebody found this phone, and they're like, they fucking snuck out last night, blah blah blah, holy shit, blah blah blah. So they ended up grounding us. We got grounded, so we were stuck in our rooms mind you, we were there at the time too. So like we were at the house that this was happening at. And we were watching from the window as they texted the boys and they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, you guys can come back. Like our parents aren't home, blah blah blah. Like you can come get us or like you can come over." Sorry, my neck cracked.
How creative of it.
Yeah, you can come over, blah blah. So they were like pretending to be us. And so like the boys came back over and they pulled into the driveway and instead of like finding us, they find my dad. And uh the one boy, I think he kind of realized what was happening. So instead of staying, he took off. So like he took off like out of the driveway before like the one dude even really pulled into the driveway. But the other dude, he just like stayed. He was just like, "All right, I think I accepted this ass whooping for what it is, and I'm just gonna deal with it, you know." So the one boy stayed. He got, he was met with my dad and stuff. And this is my favorite thing ever because I will never forget this. My dad looked this guy in the face and he said, "Do you know who I am?" And he said, "No, sir. No, sir." No, you had him call you master. You had him call you master. He's like, "You will call me master." He said, "Do you know who I am?" He said, "No, master. No, I do not." He said, "I'm that little girl's father." And just fucking beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I think that's when I snapped and started swinging at him. Hey, that was a long time ago, sort of.
So the one guy ended up getting out of it because he ran away because he was smart enough to be like, "Oh shit, I know what's happening right now." But the other one, he stayed. He wasn't smart enough.
I
he stayed.
felt kind of bad, but then everybody's like, "Dude, if I was my kid, I would have done the same thing, man. So don't feel bad about it." Yeah.
Nothing came of it. I mean, nothing happened, but yeah, no, you had him get on his knees and call you master, and that was the funniest thing because I remember that you're like, "Do you know who I am?" And he was like, "No, master, no, I don't." And you're like, "I'm that little girl's father." And then you beat the shit out of him, and that was that. I was bad. I was a badass kid. I did some stupid shit in my time.
She was evil when she was younger.
I wasn't evil, okay? I did some not so good things. Oh, look at my hair.
Yeah, everybody thinks when they meet me, and I've had this happen before.
Yeah.
Where I was actually in a club for quite a while once, and I was always kind of the quiet guy, and people said things to me, tried to get me riled up, and I 99% of the time I just shrugged it off and just kind of looked at them and laughed and didn't do nothing and didn't really say a lot. And yeah, well, the one day one of them kept messing with me. I was the VP at the time, and they didn't like the president, and they was shit talking my president. And I told them, I says, "I don't appreciate that, and you better quit." And they didn't want to quit. And they kept messing with me. They thought I wasn't going to do nothing. They're like, "Yeah, he never does nothing." I saw it coming, and I had a gun on me, and I left my gun sitting on. It was in somebody's garage bar. I left my gun sitting on the counter, and I went outside. We went outside to go smoke. Wrong one. We went outside to go smoke, and this guy started continuing on messing with me and saying things that pissed me off, and I just snapped. I went off. He didn't even see it coming. He said I sucker punched him, but I was standing face to face with him saying, "Listen here, motherfucker." And then I punched him. He said, "You cheap shotted me." I says, "How do you cheap shot somebody when we're face to face?" And I looked at you and I told you to quit and you wouldn't quit. How is that a cheap shot? What am I supposed to do? Go, look out, here it comes. You know what I mean? You're supposed to warn them. You're supposed to go, "Hey, man, I'm going to punch you now." Which I thought was ridiculous. He grabbed a hold of me and threw me on the hood of some poor girl's car, and I had a hold of him by his head, and I'm just sitting there going, "Wah-pow, wah-pow, wah-pow, wah-pow," and he's like, "Let me go, let me go, let me go," and I'm like, No, I'm not letting you go. What do you think I am, stupid? I let you go, you're just going to start swinging at me. You got me pinned on the hood of this car. And then after that, everybody's like, man, you kicked his ass. I always wanted to kick his ass. Everybody, like half the guys in the club were like, we was all tired of his big mouth and tired of his shit. We all wanted to beat him up, but you got a chance to do it first. But that changed everybody's opinion. Everybody found out the hard way that even though I'm quiet most of the time, I can be pushed too far, and I can lose my temper. I'm one of the easiest people to get along with, but there are ways to push me too far. Well, guys. Yep, FAFO, fuck around and find out. I find the older I get, the shorter my temper gets.
That's what I said. I said you mellowed out and rolled it.
No, my temper, well, I can go, if you push the wrong buttons, I can go from 0 to 100 real fast in my old age because I don't mess around. It used to be like when you're in your 20s, you get in somebody's face and you start poking them and yelling at them and shove each other and get a little shoving match. No, when you're older, you're just like, if you know it's coming, you take every advantage you can get. If somebody starts messing with you and you know I just blast them. I don't even waste my time running my mouth anymore. I'm like, I'll give you one warning, and this is your final warning. Shut up about that, or leave me alone. And if they don't, and they start running their mouth again, that's it. I just go over and pop them right in the chops. I don't mess around.
Your big ass head.
But like I said, 99.9999% of the time, I'm the coolest and easiest person to get along with. I am. I'm mellow and easy to get along with. All right, we've been on for an hour and 42 minutes. I like to try to keep them around hour 40, hour and 50, somewhere around there at the absolute most. I was shooting for hour-long shows, and that's just not worked out because I got a big mouth.
That's okay.
All right, guys. God bless you. Be good or be good at it. And until next week, I'll see you in Mike's room. And yeah, that was Sarah over there. Say bye, Sarah. Bye. The AI camera's focusing on me, but I'll see you next week, next Sunday at 2:00. Hopefully we'll be in the new studio then. And until then, God bless.
Hittin' it with HardWire. We're burning it bright. Living on the edge, we'll ride through the night. No fear in our hearts, just the roar of the steel. Together we rise, now this life feels real. Down a new path on that twisted black line. A YouTube dream where his past can't confine. With every rev, he's reclaiming his soul, teaching the world how to ride, how to roll.